Okay, let's dive straight into this explainer and tackle what is arguably one of the most frustrating, time-consuming tasks in all of digital creation: background removal. Seriously, if you've ever found yourself staring blindly at a screen late at night, painstakingly tracing the edge of a coffee cup, or, a single stray piece of hair, pixel by agonizing pixel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the kind of tedious, soul-crushing work that can completely drain your creative energy before you even get to the fun part of a project.
But it really comes down to this one simple question. Why on earth are we spending hours doing manual labor when Photoshop can literally do the heavy lifting for us in a matter of seconds? I mean, we've all felt the pain of an imperfect cutout, right? The jagged edges, the missing details, or worse, accidentally deleting a crucial part of our image so our subject looks like they tragically lost an ear in the editing process. It's the worst. But the truth is, there is an actual science to getting this right, and it completely depends on matching the right tool to your specific image.
To make this super easy to digest, we're breaking this down into a quick 4-step roadmap. First, instant one-click solutions. Second, everyday selection tools. Third, professional precision methods. And finally, perfecting and refining edges. Right off the bat, we want to give you the ultimate cheat sheet so you have a structured method to this madness. You don't ever need to guess which tool to use anymore. The days of randomly clicking around the toolbar and just crossing your fingers are officially over. Whether you're dealing with a simple, solid background or insanely complex, chaotic fine details, there is a specific optimized workflow for it. We're going to unpack exactly how to use this hierarchy so you can finally reclaim your time. Step 1. Instant one-click solutions, where we basically just let AI do all the heavy lifting. When you are strapped for time, these one-click tools are absolutely your best friend. There are two incredibly fast methods here: remove background using AI and quick actions. And the great thing is, both are accessed the exact same way. You just select your layer, pop up to Window, then Properties, and hit Remove Background. Or if you want to be even faster, you can use the keyboard shortcut, Alt plus F9 on Windows or Option plus F9 on a Mac. These methods deliver fast, easy background removal instantly. They are brilliant when you want quick, automatic results, even if the background is somewhat complex. The AI basically analyzes the focal point and just handles the whole shebang. But as amazing as it is, we all know AI isn't perfect for every single situation. Which brings us to step 2, everyday selection tools, fast and functional. You can think of this as scenario-based editing. For instance, what if you have a perfectly solid background? Well, your immediate answer is the classic magic wand tool. Just hit W, click the background, and boom, you're mostly there. What if your subject has clear edges and really high contrast against the background, like a dark silhouette against a bright sky? In that case, you switch to the quick selection tool, also under W, and just brush over your subject. Photoshop snaps right to those high contrast edges. But what if the background isn't perfectly solid, but it does have a very uniform color tone throughout? That is exactly when you go up to Select, then Color Range, and gently tweak your fuzziness slider until the subject isolates. By simply matching the tool directly to the visual data of your image, you are saving an enormous amount of time. Okay, now we need to talk about the absolute most crucial pivot in your entire workflow: destructive versus non-destructive editing. So many beginners make their selection and instantly smash the delete key. Please do not do this. That permanently destroys pixels. If you realize an hour later that you chopped off a piece of a product, you literally have to start all over again. True professionals always use layer masks. By adding a layer mask, you are simply hiding the background, not deleting it. It's totally non-destructive. You can always grab your brush tool, switch it to white, and paint those original pixels right back in. Layer masks are an absolute game changer. Moving right along to step 3, professional precision methods. This is your standard pro-level arsenal. Transitioning into this professional arsenal means we are seriously leveling up our methods. When the magic wand or the AI just isn't cutting it, pun absolutely intended, this is the exact playbook the pros rely on for absolute perfection. We are actively moving away from the software making wild guesses, and we are putting the surgical control entirely back into your hands. At the absolute top of that professional hierarchy is the pen tool. If you are working with products, logos, packaging, high-end e-commerce images, or literally anything with hard, distinct edges, the pen tool offers unmatched precision. It is the gold standard for print production and pro retouching because it doesn't rely on Photoshop guessing where an edge is based on a bunch of pixels. Instead, you are explicitly drawing that edge mathematically. It creates this perfect, scalable vector path that will never, ever look jagged. Now, the pen tool can definitely feel overwhelming at first, but it's really just 6 highly manageable steps.
First, hit P to select it. Second, and this is a massive pro tip, zoom in to 200 to 400%. You have to see exactly what you're doing, right down to the pixel level. Third, create your anchor points around the subject and complete the path. Fourth, right-click and choose Make Selection. Fifth, apply a feather radius of 0.5 to 1 pixel. This is absolutely vital. Without this tiny feather, your cutout is going to look like it was sliced with a razor blade and artificially pasted in. It looks totally fake. Finally, click Add Layer Mask. That's it. Precision control and completely non-destructive. What's really fascinating here is how we categorize entirely different tools specifically for complex, fine details. Hard edges, get the pen tool. But what about a model with blowing hair or a fluffy dog running through a field? For hair and fur, you want to jump straight to the Select and Mask workspace, or utilize the Channels method, where you duplicate the specific color channel with the best contrast. And what about a glass bottle? For transparent objects, the Channels method is once again your absolute best bet. You are utilizing the actual light and dark data of the image itself to isolate the subject perfectly. But getting that initial selection is really only half the battle. And that brings us to step 4, perfecting and refining edges to get those flawless finishes. To get a truly flawless finish, we have to build our efficiency with subtraction. There's a brilliant pattern across these tools. Whether you are using the basic selection tools, quick selection, object selection, or the polygonal lasso, holding the Alt key on Windows or the Option key on a Mac is your universal shortcut to subtract from a selection. You just hold Alt and drag or paint over the unwanted area that accidentally bled over. It's a huge time saver for rapid-fire cleanup, saving you from the nightmare of having to start your selection all over again from scratch. For those really tricky edges we mentioned earlier, the Select and Mask cleanup method is hands down the best way to tame flyaway hair and fix complex edges. You just hit Ctrl plus Alt plus R to open that dedicated workspace. From there, you grab the refined edge brush or use the standard brush tool in minus mode, and you just gently paint over the transition areas. This essentially tells Photoshop to calculate the micro contrast between the hair and the background, stripping out unwanted edges and those ugly pixel halos that immediately scream bad Photoshop job. Before you even think about exporting, you absolutely need to apply these final polish pro tips. Again, always zoom in 200 to 400% to really see those edges. Always ensure your edges have that tiny feather of 0.5 to 1 pixel so the cutout looks natural in its new environment. And here is an incredible insider secret. Always, always check your edges on both a solid black background and a solid white background. Checking it on pure black reveals stray light-colored pixels you missed. Checking it on pure white reveals stray dark shadows or fringing. If your cutout looks flawless on both of those extremes, it is guaranteed to pass any professional quality check. To wrap up our toolkit today, let's quickly lock in these essential selection shortcuts. You really want to commit these to muscle memory. Select All is Ctrl-A. Need to drop your selection entirely and start over? Deselect is Ctrl-D. Say you selected the background but actually need the subject instead, just inverse your selection with Ctrl-Shift-I. And to quickly access that super important feathering option we keep talking about, hit Shift F6. Mastering these rapid-fire keyboard commands is going to exponentially speed up your daily workflow. So, we've covered the whole spectrum, from instantaneous AI removal to surgical pen tool paths and meticulous edge refinement. You are now fully equipped with a strategic hierarchy of tools, and you know exactly when and why to use them, all without ever destroying your original image data. So, as you sit down to tackle your own creative workflow, I'll leave you with this. You have the tools, so which of these methods will you use to master your next project? Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me, and I can't wait to see the flawless cutouts you create.